welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast on a scorching hot Wednesday afternoon. It's actually not so bad here in the office.
But unfortunately, Jay melted on the way from the car to the office. That's why he's not here.
Jay's currently in a meat locker somewhere. He should congeal back to his normal self tomorrow.
Yeah.
So he's taking a maintenance day today. So you're just stuck with me, Greg Boysen, and Mario Tirabassi.
Yeah.
The penalty kill unit is out again.
Our SWAS. You have to deal with
this whoever's idea was to buy this little air circulating fan
this
right
fan
here
is
you the MVP right there. That fan is fantastic.
I believe that was Jake.
Good move on Jake.
Good.
Our fearless leader.
Good move. That thing is going to be running constantly over the last 72 hours. Yesterday, today, and tomorrow for sure.
Yeah, Charlie, the bacon guy, who's worn the most shirts.
Who's
had the most changes? I'm on my fifth shirt. Help. Well, I'm still on my first shirt.
Yeah, this one might make it through the rest of the show.
Yeah.
Might.
And,
no guarantees.
Edward is asking Jay's dental appointment.
I think he's doing
He appears
okay.
to be feeling fine. It just ran longer than it did, and he didn't want to rush down there.
Yeah, he messaged us, said that he wasn't going to be able to make it, but, I mean, he said if he could talk, he wanted to be here. So
yeah, I think it was more of an issue of
time.
Him not being able to get here before 2 more than how he's feeling. But it's an around the league Wednesday.
Mm-hmm.
And
shout out to Nate that says it's 96 in his warehouse, but he's still going to watch the show on the lunch break. That's dedication.
Well, because you know what? 96 in your warehouse is about 5 degrees cooler than it is outside.
It's cooler than being outside.
Yeah, thank you, Nate. We appreciate that. I don't miss the warehouse days. I used to work in a warehouse when I had a real job before. The good news, though, it was at the Greater Chicago Food Depository. So we had a huge refrigerated and freezer section.
Yeah.
So if you got too hot, you were just like, I'm going to go check on the lettuce in the refrigerator for the next 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm going to count
lettuce
every
need to be rotated.
I'm going to count every leaf of lettuce for inventory purposes. I'll be back.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it's Around the League Wednesday. This is the day where we kind of stop talking about the Blackhawks. Not that there's a lot going on right now, but we do have some fun stuff coming up over the next few days.
You can still make it about the Blackhawks.
Yeah. We'll definitely some Blackhawk connections to all these stories. But we got some interesting things to talk about. The NHL Network released another top 20 list. This time it's defensemen.
Yep.
Tommy Hawk won a major award.
Yeah, major award.
He gets a leg lamp sent right to his house.
It's fragile.
We got lots of other stories. We're going to start, though, and make it all about the Blackhawks because, we're the Toronto Maple Leafs of Blackhawks podcast. We got to make it all about the Hawks.
That's what the people want.
It is. And let me find out where it was. Evan Bouchard.
Yeah.
He got a new deal with the Edmonton Oilers.
A bridge deal, 2 years, $3.9 million per year. On face value, I think that's a really good bridge deal.
Yeah.
It sucks, though, for the Oilers because they were kind of handcuffed into having to do a bridge deal because of the position they're in with their cap space.
And Draisaitl's
Draisaitl's contract coming up.
Notice how those are now ending at the same time.
Yep. They're going to make a decision, and I think that decision's probably going to be easy in 2 years. But hey, I mean, good for Bouchard to get some money. He's had a pretty solid stretch of play here. Young-ish still defenseman. Good offensive upside. Not really that great defensively, but he's a guy that you could put in your top four on your NHL rotation. He's going to give you some offensive pump. He's going to play on your power play, and he's a big body, average skater. Just a guy that you can plug in your top four and be confident in. So good for him. I know we talk about Edmonton a lot, needing to kind of plug holes in their defense and goaltending. Bouchard is one of those guys that you don't really have to worry about because for the role that he needs to play, he can fill it pretty well.
Yeah, he's been a slower developing player, which is something we need to keep in mind over the next few years. He was a top 10 pick. He was drafted 10th overall in 2018. More on that in a minute.
Yeah.
But he's kind of taken some time. They kept him in the AHL for, 2 full seasons?
I believe so, yeah.
So, he got his time in. Where he's going to excel the most over these next 2 years is being that top power play quarterback.
Yep.
With Draisaitl and McDavid on the ice. He's going to pick up a lot of points just feeding the puck to those two guys while the Oilers are on. I mean, they had the number one power play. I mean, one of the greatest power plays of all time, percentage-wise, last season, and he was a part of that. Good deal for the Oilers, at least cap-wise. If you were going to give him a longer-term deal, you're definitely going to have to give him more money. It's one of those interesting names that in 2 years when this bridge deal is up, what is he, if he continues to play at the level he's at, does he become a big target for other teams? Because he'll still be young.
He'll be, I think he's still in RFA status once the 2 years is over. So that'll be interesting to see what the Oilers do with that, whether they try and qualify him, get a deal done, or, maybe someone offer sheets. That's always a possibility. Or if it just doesn't work out, given Edmonton's future cap considerations and what they want to try and do with Draisaitl and potentially hitting free agency and everything, we'll see where they're going to be at. But if he keeps up the pace that he's had, back-to-back 40-point seasons, pretty good for a guy who is going to be 24 just after the season begins. 17 points in 12 games in the postseason last year. That was really a big coming out party for him. Was this last postseason where he was everywhere defensively for them. But yeah, I mean, he's a guy that when he was drafted was one of the top defensemen in the class. But I think, if I remember correctly, one of the hindrances of him not being the top or the second defenseman in the draft class in the rankings was a lot of people thought, well, he's really physically and his skill set was already kind of matured, being one of the older players in the draft class. How high could his ceiling go?
Right.
And I think that was one thing that people kind of were like, well, this 18-year-old might already be topped out. Like, well, no, that's not the case at all. Like, he was just kind of ahead of some of the players in that draft class. But if he keeps 40-point pace, maybe he ups it a little bit, 45, 50 points over the next 2 years. He's going to be a guy that is going to be potentially in that market for 5, 6, 7 year or $7 million per year kind of deal, where you get a 25-year-old guy putting up half point or better per game as an offensive dynamo kind of player, offensive focused guy. He's definitely going to be intriguing in that summer of 25 for sure.
Yeah. Well, we look back at that 2018 draft. He was the 4th defenseman taken, 10th overall. Of course, the first defenseman taken was the first player taken, Rasmus Dahlin, Buffalo Sabres. That's worked out rather pick. Well for them.
We'll hear his name later in today's show.
Yeah. Obviously, I think he's worthy of that pick. Yep. 7th was Quinn Hughes to the Vancouver Canucks, which broke my heart because it was one pick ahead of the Blackhawks, who took Adam Boqvist, the 3rd defenseman taken in that draft.
Yep.
Lord, would I love a redo. I mean, granted, if you draft someone better than Boqvist, you probably still trade him for Seth Jones and, whatever.
Yeah, but trajectory of everything.
The reach of Adam Boqvist at 8 has not worked out. It hasn't really worked out for Columbus either.
No.
I mean, they got 2 other first-round picks in that trade for Seth Jones, but Bouchard went 4th, 2 picks after Boqvist. You still had Noah Dobson. I know a lot of guys wanted Noah Dobson. Noah Dobson's been a solid player, defensive defenseman. He's played 238 games, 30 goals, 121 points.
It's pretty good for a guy who's 23.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
And then you had other notable defensemen that were taken after the Hawks. They could have had K'Andre Miller. He went all the way to 22nd. Nice. That wouldn't have been a bad pick. And then there was Romanoff, who is now Noah Dobson's teammate with the Islanders.
Yeah, I mean,
But would you have rather taken Evan Bouchard over Adam Boqvist? I think now
Yes.
there's no doubt. I think a lot of people back then said yes. I mean,
Yeah.
compare the two. Bouchard's played 184 games to Boqvist's 174 games. Boqvist have dealt with a couple of injuries, so
Yeah. I mean, they both took similar paths post-draft.
yeah. I mean, they both played a season together in London. But Bouchard had more time to get seasoned in the AHL, where Boqvist was kind of hurried to the NHL a little bit.
Yeah. Bouchard played 54 games in one season with the Bakersfield Condors, only with the Bakersfield Condors in that season. So he was only an AHL player that year, 36 points in that season. He had 8 points in 8 playoff games for Bakersfield the season before. So once his OHL year was over that year in 2019, he joined them for a short playoff run. And then, joined Edmonton in the COVID shortened season. Played 14 games there, and then back-to-back seasons, 81 games, 82 games. He's been a full-time NHLer with Edmonton the last 2 seasons. But yeah, I mean, he was teammates with Boqvist in that 2018-2019 OHL season. And then, Boqvist jumped up to the NHL, was back and forth NHL, AHL at that time. Yeah, he could have used more of a full AHL season before making the full-time jump, but the previous GM wanted his new toy to be fun and shiny right away, so he was pushed a little bit ahead of time. Look, Boqvist is a guy that in Columbus is playing up to, I think, what his newly realized ceiling is. He's a third-pairing guy who's going to be offensively gifted, offensively minded. He can play on your second power play. And he's going to need to be paired with a guy who's a little bit more defensively responsible to make up for what he lacks defensively at 5-on-5. And you know what? He can make a fine career out of that. Yeah. He's not the second coming of Erik Karlsson.
No.
He's more or less the second coming of Erik Gustafsson.
Yeah. I'd hope you'd hope a guy you'd take 8th overall be
a little bit better than that. Yes,
It's
of
just
course.
probably a good call. I mean, when you look at their numbers between the two, offensively they're pretty equal. 22 goals for Boqvist, 23 for Bouchard. Bouchard's got a few more assists, 66 to 53. Here's the most telling number, and I hate using this number. I'm not a big fan of the plus-minus stat.
Yeah, it's a team stat.
But there's a big difference. I mean, Bouchard's a +9 his whole career. Granted, he gets to be on the ice with Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl a lot, and those guys score a lot of goals.
Mm-hmm.
And Boqvist, for being an offensive-minded defenseman, is a -33 in his career. That's not good. And I know he was on some god-awful teams with god-awful man-to-man system. He was put in a position to fail, and he did. Columbus hasn't been a great situation.
Bad
but
team, yeah.
For a guy that's supposed to be an offensive defenseman, how are you a -33?
I mean,
it means he's not contributing enough offense.
Not at 5-on-5.
Right.
He's more. Yeah. I mean, like I said, like he's more of that guy who's going to really help you on a power play, but you bury him and shelter his minutes when he's at 5-on-5. And yeah, I mean, playing for bad Blackhawks teams and bad Blue Jackets teams is not going to really help you. That's why Seth Jones is, when they do the NHL Masters leaderboard, where the lowest minus or the highest minus is actually the leader, leader in the clubhouse. Seth Jones is always on that leaderboard. It's just because he's on the ice a lot for bad teams the last 2 seasons.
Plus-minus improves this year.
I think it does too.
Because I think, again, he's going to be out there a lot with Connor Bedard and Taylor Hall.
Yeah, it'll help.
And you would think that line is going to spend more time with the puck than without the puck. Yeah. You would hope.
Hopefully it'll be a different experience for Seth, and his plus-minus can improve. But yeah, I remember back to the 2018 draft. I wanted Evan Bouchard because at that time, the Blackhawks defensive system did not have guys who had size, guys who, looked like they could be legit NHL defensemen and not squint hard, or we hope they can be. Bouchard, to me, at that time, looked like a guy that was like, yep, he's going to make it in the NHL.
Yeah.
And they went with Boquist, and I talked myself into Boquist. I said, yeah, all right, got a lot of offensive skill, got a lot of flash. Then their second first round pick of that draft was, you did the same thing. You got a smaller, offensive-minded, puck-moving defenseman in Nicholas Beaudin,
who is
no longer in North America playing hockey.
Yeah. So you swung and missed on 2 picks.
So yeah,
that 20.
Or no, Beaudin I think is actually with.
I think he's with Laval.
Laval. Yeah.
But yeah, you took Beaudin at 27. You could have had Nils Lundqvist, who was taken 28th. Rasmus Sandin was taken 29th.
Matthias Samuelsson was the first pick of the second round.
So, look what Buffalo did. They get Matthias Samuelsson and Rasmus Dahlin with their first 2 picks.
And there's 2 guys that are likely going to play in their top 4 for the next 6-7 years.
Romanov was still there. He wasn't taken until 38th.
Yep.
So, there were some different, I know, hindsight 2020.
Right, yeah.
But at the time, those picks didn't seem great.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, fine. You talk
yourself into
Boquist at 8. That wouldn't have been so bad if you didn't double down on that type of defenseman at 27. Right. Had you gone with one of those other defensemen we just named instead.
Or a forward. Because at this time, because 2018 was, that's pre-even Lucas Reichel.
Yeah.
And Alex DeBrincat was drafted, but he was no longer a prospect. You have free Kirby Dach. Like your forwards system, your forwards in the pipeline were, there was nothing there. They had no top end guys. And another guy who got an extension today with Detroit, Joe Veleno. Look, he's a bottom 6 guy in the NHL. But he's still young, still playing in the NHL. He was a guy that, again, in that 2018 draft, I was like, all right. Second Blackhawks first-round pick. They need a forward. Veleno's got a lot of skills to him. He's got a well-rounded game. Go get Joe Veleno. They got Nicholas Beaudin instead. And you can check the receipts on Twitter. I was tweeting about Joe Veleno and Evan Bouchard in leading up to the 2018 draft. This isn't all hindsight.
Yeah,
I got receipts.
I was all Quinn Hughes, and then the second he went off the board, I was like,
man.
son of a... And then I was like,
one pick ahead.
I was so disappointed that the Boquist pick was made, and I was kind of like, who? Like, okay, and then
he sounds like the same kind of player.
You looked at some film and you read some stuff and you're like, okay, yeah, Bouchard Dobson probably would have been better, but okay, this kid might have a shot. And then the Beaudin pick, it was like, here we go again.
It was like you just did that.
Yeah,
you just did it.
Yes. Speaking of just doing it, young Dale God did it again, paying his 99-cent donation. You know who we should sign who is also an offensive mind player that has a positive plus-minus? Gainer.
Oof, jeez. Yeah. Oh, does Patrick Kane have a positive plus-minus?
Maybe in his career. He definitely did not have one last season.
Not last year. I typed in Payrick Kane. Patrick Kane, yeah. Yeah, he is not known for the, the defensive side of things. So he was a minus 22 last season overall. And that includes a minus 23 in Chicago. So he was a plus 1.
He almost had Adam Boquist's career plus minus in 60 games. Not great.
Yeah. Patrick Kane's career plus minus, by the way, is a plus 21.
See, it was a lot better before last season.
The last 3 seasons was a minus 23, minus 22. Or I'm sorry, minus 23, minus 19, minus 7, all in Chicago.
I mean, did anyone have a positive plus-minus last year on the Blackhawks?
Yes, somebody was even.
Last year?
Wasn't there an even guy?
Someone was even?
Might have been McCabe. Let me look.
That's a good call. Could have been.
There was one guy that we were like, yeah, he wasn't even.
Jake McCabe in 55 games with Chicago was plus 7. Anders Bjork in 13 games was plus 4. Cole Gutman in 14 games was plus 1. Buddy Robinson in 9 games, plus 1.
Our hero. That's it. And a bunch of guys that were even.
Luke Philp was even in 3 games.
Hey.
That's it. Yeah. So out of guys that played the majority of the season with the Blackhawks, it was Jake McCabe.
Yeah.
Your guy.
Hey. Well, one of the many reasons that he was my guy is his solid plus minus.
Yeah. Well, apparently the Yahoos in the background Must be something going on in the Cubs game. It's our
Yeah, the
Cubs
Cubs just gave up a game-tying grand slam to the Tigers.
Sweet.
A game tying grand slam.
Yeah, with 2 outs.
Someone was
Wow.
banging grannies in Detroit.
Banging
Oh,
grannies.
quote.
They sure did.
That's a Carm quote for people who don't watch the Bears, the Bears show.
Boy.
All right. Well, we had some other familiar friends, at least from the Ice Hogs, that showed up in the news today. I need to
Yesterday
turn
was
that
Brandon
down.
Hagel.
Yes, Brendan Hagel got his new deal. We talked about that on yesterday's show. Staying in Tampa Bay, Darren Radish,
Yeah.
brother to Taylor Radish and former
Older
Blackhawks.
Older brother?
I think he's the older brother, yes.
Older brother. Yeah, he is. Yep.
He was a Blackhawks draft pick and Ice Hog, former Ice Hog.
Former Ice Hog.
He got himself a 2-year, one-way deal with the Tampa Bay Lightning for $975,000 a year. Good for him. Getting
Nice.
that security.
Yeah.
He was a guy that, because of injuries last year, they relied on a lot in the stretch. He was playing in the playoffs and playing well.
Yeah.
And this is a guy that, has been bounced around. He's with the Ice Hogs. He got traded to, matter of fact, wasn't it Darren Radish that was traded to the Rangers for
Peter Holland?
who
Yes,
we're
it
gonna
was.
Badmouth here in a couple seconds. Yeah. And then he was at Tampa, but spent a lot of time in Syracuse.
Yep.
Real late bloomer, but a solid guy. Your 6th, 7th defenseman.
Yeah.
A guy that's responsible. Not gonna put teams in, his team in a bad spot very often. I'm just happy for him that he got a 2-year, one-way contract, meaning he'll have to clear waivers if they want to send him back down to the AHL. So good for him.
Yeah. A good deal for him, a good deal for Tampa. And it's a good reward for, like you said, like a guy who's had a lot of time in the AHL, who's really, taken this time to kind of build up and, get the opportunity and thrown into a position of necessity for the Lightning in the postseason. He like you said, he played well. So it's good to see him get rewarded for that. Always a nice guy to deal with when he was with Rockford. Talked to him a number of times. But yeah, good for Darren to get that deal. Yeah, it seems like all the former Ice Hogs are making their way down to Tampa. It's Tampa, Rockford. It's
I mean,
an
for a long
upgrade.
time we were calling the Panthers Blackhawks South, so now Tampa can just be Blackhawks South.
Yeah, could be.
And speaking of that Darren Radish trade with the Rangers, that was when the Blackhawks got Peter Holland and immediately sent him to Rockford. Peter Holland stopped playing hockey because he wanted to invest in the whole cryptocurrency garbage.
Yeah, he went crypto.
Guess what?
It didn't
He needs
work
to start
out.
playing hockey again because his ass is broke. And he signed.
Well, we don't know if he's broke, but
Well, he's definitely
deciding to come back to hockey. now.
his cryptocurrency adventures did not go the way he did, because if they did,
think
he
so.
would not have signed a PTO with the Colorado Avalanche this week.
Yeah, that's
32
true.
years old, hasn't played hockey in a couple years. I wonder if this is like a favor. Does he have a...
I don't know.
get the allure of Peter Holland years ago, because he's a big dude.
Big guy.
Got that
former first round pick.
Got that power forward build. Just... I don't like Peter Holland, and you were there that night too. Little did we know that our worlds would be colliding again. We were both covering a game in Rockford. It might have been Peter Holland's first game with the team.
It was one of his firsts.
At least the first home game.
Yeah.
And he scored the game-winning goal, I think. And we're all waiting for him after the game. Now, in Rockford, it's done a little differently. You wait out in the hallway. The PR guy goes and grabs the guy out of the locker room.
Was Joey
brings
Z
him
at
in.
the time.
Yeah, our guy, Joey Z. He'll bring him out of the locker room. You talk to him in the hallway. You don't go into the locker room like you do in the NHL level. Yeah, well, of course, we all want to talk to Peter Holland. It's his first game in Rockford. He had the game-winning goal, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, why not?
We talked to the coach, Derek King at the time. Probably talked to someone else, and we're waiting. We're told, he'll come out. He had to do his post-game workout.
We're like, okay, and that's not uncommon. Heard that before. Usually it means they're in the middle of the workout, and it'll be, 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah. No,
So we're like, all right, we're cool.
It was literally like 30, 35 minutes after the game ended. This guy decides to wander out and finally talk to us. And I'm thinking, who the F do you think you are, dude? Like, you're in Rockford, and you're big-timing.
Yeah.
Me and Mario, we're probably the only two guys there.
I think we were the only ones that stuck. I think
Because at that time, they had two newspaper guys.
I think they both had left by that time.
They said, screw it. And I'm thinking back, this is a guy that played for the Toronto Maple Leafs. Like, there's no way he pulled this stunt when he was playing with the Maple Leafs. Like, to me, it was just like complete disrespect. And after that, I was like, screw this guy. I'm glad he lost all his money in crypto. Allegedly.
Yeah, the last time he played in the NHL was with the Rangers in the 2017-18 season, and then 2018-19 split time between Hartford and Rockford. His last 3 seasons playing professional hockey, he was playing in the KHL in the 1920 in the 2019-2020 season and the 2020-2021 season for a KHL team that I'm going to butcher the name, but for the Yucks, I'm going to try it. Yekaterinburg Automobilist. Sure.
All right.
2 seasons with them, and then 2021-22, he played in Sweden for Djurgårdens, 15 games with them. So that was the last times that he was playing professional hockey, was in Europe. So yeah, we'll see what ends up happening. I don't think I think it's unlikely he'll crack the Colorado Avalanche roster, but maybe he gets an opportunity with the Colorado Eagles.
Colorado Eagles, yeah. There's worse places to play.
If he does stick with the Colorado organization, he will have played for all 3 ALLCITY Network organizations, because he played 40 games in the 2016-17 season with the Arizona Coyotes.
All right, making the rounds. Maybe there'll be another ALLCITY team for him to play for in the future.
Yeah, maybe. Allegedly. But
yeah,
yeah, good luck to Peter.
And not really, though.
And it's interesting seeing the number of PTOs that have been dished out, and we're already kind of into that point of the offseason now where it's just like, we did our free agent draft, and after about 3-4 picks, we were like, ooh, this is where PTO territory comes in. A lot of guys that are still available out there likely are going to be waiting for their phone to ring in September, when teams are, getting their cap situations together, getting their training cap rosters together, and saying, you know what, maybe we'll take a flyer on Eric Stahl or Tomas Tatar or something like that. Come on into camp and we'll see what you got,
Yeah, I think this year may set the record for the most PTOs.
There's going to be a lot.
There'll be a lot. A lot of guys who are hoping to get guaranteed contracts are going to have to work for it. Speaking of working for it, we're going to pay a couple bills here before we get to our other tidbits. So while we're telling you about our new friends, smash that like button while you're learning about
Ray
our
Auto.
friends at Ray Chevy. Are you in the market for a new or used vehicle? If you are, then we've got some exciting news for you, because Ray Chevy in Fox Lake has just joined the CHGO team.
Hey, Fox Lake.
And we were talking to the team over at Ray, and they have this pledge called the Ray Price Promise. It's a guarantee that the price you see online is the price you will pay when you go into the dealership. We found that in many cases, other dealers will raise the price on you when you come into the dealership, saying things like, well, are you a recent college grad? Are you active in the military? Are you a farmer? And in most cases, the answer would be no. And that's when the other dealers will raise the price on you, saying the price online included limited rebates that you don't qualify for. Well, Ray Chevy, they don't play games like that. The price you see online is the price you pay, with no add-ons to the price ever. In fact, Ray will do everything possible to find additional savings for you, which will make the price even lower than what you see online. As one of the top selling dealers in the Midwest, you'll always be able to shop one of Chicagoland's largest inventories and save big at Ray Chevy, because they now have over 100 Chevy Trax models available, starting at $21,495. That sounds like a good price for one of them bad boys. Yeah. Now, through August 31st, all buyers can qualify for 0% financing, make 0 payments until 2024, plus no money down. And the best of all, pay 0 hidden fees with the Ray Price Promise. Visit Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. Serving the community since 1963. Find new roads with our new friends at Ray Chevy.
Chevy Trax. That's a car that when I was in the market to get a new car, Chevy Trax is one that I looked at. It was a solid car.
All right.
Solid car for sure.
Well, they got a lot of them over at Ray.
That's a good deal over there at Ray. And you know where else you can get a good deal for all of your cannabis needs is the Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Sunnyside is your home for judgment-free Cannabis Shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. Sunnyside has everything you need to elevate your summer. You want to get high? Sunnyside is your one-stop shop for all of your cannabis needs, no matter where you are in your cannabis journey, whether you're Towley or you're like me, just starting their cannabis journey. Easy online ordering is available with Sunnyside. They have in-store pickup as well, have a great transparent loyalty program called the Sunnyside Rewards, and so much more to offer. They have a ton of in-house brands like the Mindy's, the best tasting gummy and chocolate edibles created by James Beard Award-winning chef Mindy Siegel and Cresco Labs. They have high supply. They offer quality weed that's always available. Their buds are expertly grown, lab tested, and available in vape carts, vape pens, flour, popcorn, shakes, pre-rolls, shorties, and concentrates. There's also FloraCal. Born on the West Coast, FloraCal Farms is committed to rigorous pheno hunting and small batch cultivation practices that yield only the best results. Flower is always hand-trimmed and expertly cared for to ensure only the best flower, vapes, gummies, and pre-rolls go to market. So now, through August, head to sunnyside.shop and use the promo code CHGO25 at checkout. And when you do, you're going to get 25% off of your total order. That is one use per customer, but it is not exclusive to new customers. Anyone can use that code. Again, that is sunnyside.shop, code CHGO. Pick up everything you need to elevate your summer. Again, must be 21 plus and or an Illinois medical card holder.
Or Towley.
Or be Towley,
Yeah.
yes.
Good
Yeah,
stuff.
I did that on a dare, so
All right.
there you go. Enjoy.
Yeah, everyone missed our electric mic checks before the show.
Oh, yeah.
See,
We need to start, well, no, we don't.
no, well,
I was going to say,
Yeah.
we need to start recording those mic checks. No, we do not.
a couple other quick little tidbits around the league before we hit the NHL Network's top 20 defensemen and completely agree with everything they put on that list.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm sure you could tune over to our friends PHNX Coyotes. They'll have more on this. The Coyotes announced a new 3-year extension for head coach Andre Tourigny. So good for him, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he did a good job with
They're
them.
investing in him through the rebuild. So, I like that move to give him a chance to see out what he's implementing.
Yeah.
Much like what I would hope the Blackhawks do with Luke Richardson as he moves through coaching a team that's going through a rebuild.
Yeah, and there's probably some Coyote fans that were mad at him last year for having them win too many games in the Connor Bedard year. But
yeah.
as we've mentioned in earlier episodes this offseason, they're at least making the appearance that they're trying to be competitive.
Yeah.
They made some pretty good moves this summer. They went out and traded for Sean Dursey, another player the Blackhawks could have drafted instead of Nicholas Bodine. They signed Jason Zucker, right?
Jason
He's a
Zucker,
Coyote.
yeah.
They've
Matt
made some
Dumba.
interesting moves. They brought in Matt Dumba.
Yeah.
They brought in Alex Galchenyuk, only to launch him into the center of the sun shortly after.
Yeah.
Outside of reaching for all the Russian defensemen ever born in this year's draft, they've had a pretty good offseason. They're not just out there going, okay, what retired guy that we can get 5 years of LTIR
Right.
is out there this year that we could trade for. So
Yeah, they're putting together an offseason that says, like, hey, we're not just going to try and tank. Like, we're going to try and put some talent around Logan Cooley, around Clayton Keller, like, Nick Schmaltz, former Blackhawk, is made a nice career for himself there.
Logan Cooley and especially Keller are guys you need to start giving them a glimpse of what the future is going to be like, or they're going to be out the first chance they get, they're out of there.
Well, look at this offseason with Keller. There was a little bit of that drama of, what was going to happen with him.
Yeah.
So the less you can have opportunities for things like that, the better.
Yes.
To have a positive organizational outlook.
Clayton Keller is a budding superstar.
Yeah.
And as we were told, Logan Cooley is the top prospect in the world.
Their words, not ours.
But
yeah, one of the top prospects in hockey.
Yes. So
definitely.
those are two guys you want to show that you're here to try and
You're investing
build
in it.
around them and,
Yeah.
and winning, because players like that don't like to lose. Nobody likes to lose, but they're going to be like, hey, okay, cool. Either trade me or I can't wait till this contract is up and I can go sign with a winning team. So good moves by the Coyotes. And as much we give them crap all the time, it's just too easy. They make it so easy. For all the people that are invested in that team, fan-wise, reporter-wise, employee-wise, I do want them to be good. I mean, it's,
I want to see the organization that has the Kachina jerseys matter.
Yeah, and it's not going to be bad selfishly for ALLCITY either.
No, yeah.
If the Coyotes stick around and are competitive, because PHNX Coyotes is like the only game in town if you're a
For them,
Coyotes
yeah.
fan,
Mhm.
and it's only going to get better for them because Craig Morgan and Steve Peters and Leah, they do an amazing
Tremendous
job covering them. So
yeah, and as Edward says in our chat, PHNX likes the head coach Tuini. Tuini?
So
Tuini?
good for him.
So yeah, good move.
I mean, what are you going to do? Keep changing head coaches? Let the guy run it out. They played well for him last year, better than expected. The year before, they had that stretch where they're like, oh my God, they're turning things around, and then February came and wiped that out. But and then our last little tidbit that you
Small nugget
pointed out right before we went on the air. Apparently, the NHL is working with the NHL Player Association to create an international competition to be held in February of 2025 with the intention of beginning a regular rotation of Olympic participation and a World Cup of Hockey in even years to follow. NHL Deputy Commissioner Bill Daly said on his European player tour today.
Stop me if you've heard this before. The NHL and NHLPA are working on an international best-on-best tournament. I know we've heard this before, but I think the last time we heard this, they were saying, oh, it's going to be February of 2024, and they were working on it like at the beginning of the summer. So it was like, wait a minute, you're going to mess with the schedule of next year when you've already made the schedule for next year? Like, kick the can down the road. If they want to do this February of 2025, fine. And you know what? If it leads to a precursor of Olympics, 2 years later, NHL-controlled World Cup of Hockey, 2 years later, Olympics,
That
2 years
seems
later,
to be the plan.
fine.
Every other year, there's
That's
some sort of tournament.
That's fine. If everyone wants to agree to, that sort of rotation, if they want to get the Olympics back in, where they can get an agreement between the IOC, the IIHF, the NHL, all that stuff, if everyone can agree to it, fine. Just get this damn thing done, because it has been too effing long since we have seen the best men's professional players in the world playing in a best-on-best international stage. 2014 in Sochi, or 2016 rather, in the World Cup of Hockey was the last time that happened. And we've never seen Connor McDavid playing in a major men's international tournament for Team Canada. Never seen Austin Matthews playing for Team USA. The idea of having Austin Matthews and Patrick Kane playing together for Team USA never came to fruition. Probably never will now, as where Patrick Kane is in his career. He's getting passed up by players that could play for Team USA. Crosby and McDavid never got to play together for Team Canada. A bunch of missed opportunities. So if they can get it done, get the frickin' thing done.
Yeah, I want to see that stuff. The thing I don't like is just shutting down the league for 3 weeks in the middle of the season. Olympics, okay, fine. It's once every 4 years if you're going to make. But if you're going to do your own sponsored international tournament, World Cup of Hockey, why are you doing it in February? Do it in September.
Sure, but
that's the one downside.
What I would say, if I was trying to configure all of this. So that's going to be, their rotation would be every 2 years international tournament, then in even numbered years. In those odd numbered years, you have the All-Star break. You have the All-Star game, all the festivities. In those even number years, you don't.
Right, obviously.
All-Star break becomes the gap filler between the international competition.
Because Olympics is almost 3 weeks.
Right.
So,
well, do they go for the whole Olympic tournament, or they just go for the hockey portion?
Well, the hockey portion is.
I mean, it lasts a while. Yeah, you're right.
You got to do pool play. Then so it's essentially. I think the last time they shut it down, it was like
3 weeks.
20 days.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
you can't do one of those tournaments in a week.
No.
So I just don't.
Even the World Cup. The World Cup of Hockey was like 2.5 weeks long.
Yeah. But do that when training camp's going on.
Yeah. Or
Because all those guys would be playing in the World Cup won't be playing in many preseason games anyway.
Right.
They don't necessarily need training camp. Do it during September. Start it, Labor Day weekend.
Yeah.
Let it go 2-3 weeks, and you can give them, a week and a half, 10 days to get back to their team and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't like the idea of shutting down the league in February every 2 years.
Sure.
Especially when one of them is not for an Olympic tournament, where if you're going to be playing in NHL arenas, there's no sense to
if in those years you well, that wouldn't make sense. I was going to say, instead of delaying the season later into June because of the Stanley Cup, what if you started the season earlier? But I guess if you're still pausing in February, it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's silly because then you got to condense the schedule a lot.
Right.
You got to play a lot more 3 and 4 days type deals, but we'll see what happens. I feel like this whole World Cup of Hockey has turned into, don't worry, next year the salary cap's going up a lot.
Right. Yeah.
And then it comes around like, nope, we're gonna bump it up $875,000. Yeah.
You all get one more league minimum player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see how that works out. I mean, I love the international tournaments, but
yeah, if they can agree to make it work, make it work. We all love the international.
Everybody benefits from it.
Tournaments. Yeah.
All hockey fans will enjoy it. All right, let's move on. Last week the NHL Network gave us their top 20 wingers, which we went through the list. So let's quickly go through our list here. I think maybe we'll do our bottom 10, 20 through 11, then maybe give you some more high quality ad reads. We'll see what kind of voice Mario does this way, and then we'll do our second 10.
I don't know about voices.
So here we go. Top 20 defensemen. According to the NHL Network, we'll start with the first 5. Shea Theodore of the Golden Knights, 20th.
Sure, yeah.
Brandon Montour of the Florida Panthers, 19.
Sure.
Drew Doughty of the Kings, 18.
Okay.
Mikhail Sergachev of the Lightning, 17. Brent Burns still cracking the top 20 at 16.
Okay.
Now we're going to go, when we go through this list, obviously point totals
play a
big.
factor.
Like, these are not the best defensemen in the league.
Some of them are.
Some of them are. Some of them wouldn't
Not
be on
all of
this
them.
list if they are.
Yeah.
I mean, I would still have Drew Doughty on the top 20, I guess.
Yeah.
He still puts in a ton of minutes, still plays good defensively.
Yep.
Brent Burns,
Top 20.
top 16.
Yeah. 16th best defenseman in the NHL.
He's not even the best defenseman on his team. He's like third best defenseman on his team.
Yeah. Yeah. Burns is a little high for me.
That's a reputation pick.
I mean, as far as defensemen go, Norris voting and all that, the reputation kind of precedes some of these players. Same thing with Drew Doughty. Like, yeah, he's top 20 defenseman, but he's on the cusp of not being that anymore.
Yeah, like if they left him off, I wouldn't have been outraged.
No, I wouldn't have been.
He
would have been, but I wouldn't.
It's the same thing like, when they had Patrick Kane at 20, we were kind of like, okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
Fine,
but
if Drew Doughty and Brent Burns were left off this list and replaced with some other guys, I would have had no complaint. 15 through 11. 15th is a name. Hampus Lindholm is a guy, from the Bruins, coming off a really good year. He's been great for them since coming over from the Ducks, right? He was a long-time Duck. These guys been in the league for a long time. I think is finally getting his due. Imagine going from the West Coast to the East Coast, what that does for your reputation around the league. It's funny how that works. There's Jacob Slavin at
great player.
Another Hurricane at 14. 13th is Devin Taves of the Colorado Avalanche, a guy that they got from the New York Islanders for pretty much nothing.
2 second-round picks.
Yeah. Dougie Hamilton, 12th, New Jersey Devils. Of course, Yeah,
It's
a little
kind of
high,
a-
it's a little high for me, but
Yeah.
that was a guy that's ever going to be connected to the Hawks because
Yeah.
many people wanted the Blackhawks to get him free agency as opposed to trading for Seth Jones. But again, Dougie Hamilton playing for a really good Devils team,
It
he looks
helps.
better.
Yeah.
Had Seth Jones been traded to the Devils on that team and Dougie Hamilton came to Chicago instead,
It'd be different.
I bet you Seth Jones would be 12th right now and Dougie Hamilton wouldn't be on the list.
Yep.
And then Josh Morrissey, who had a huge offensive year before getting hurt. I mean, when they didn't
when
have
they
him in
lost
that,
him, it was
it was done.
Rough sledding.
But Josh Scorsese, he got the nickname last
Yeah.
year. A bust out season for a guy who's been pretty good for a long time.
Yeah, he was always a solid mid-pair defenseman for them, and just had a breakout year last year. Yeah, I'm totally fine with him being in that 11 to 15 range for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the only of that five, the only issue I have is Dougie Hamilton. He's a fantastic offensive player.
If I'm picking between a guy like Dougie Hamilton and a guy like Jacob Slavin, I think I go Jacob Slavin.
Right. Depending on what my team needed.
Sure.
If my team had five,
One for one?
yeah. Oh no, yeah.
I'm still
And
taking
I like
Jacob
Dougie
Slavin.
Hamilton deserves to be in the top 20. I just don't know if he's
Yeah.
number 12. But again, as we've said, what's really the difference between 12 and 17?
Right.
It's not a lot.
Not much.
My biggest problem with Dougie Hamilton, I said it before, is, dude, you're in your 30s. Why do you insist we call you Dougie?
Douglas Hamilton.
You're Doug. You're an adult, dude. I'm sure it was cute when you were 10, but you're in your 30s. Doug.
I didn't pay
I'm not
atten-
even going to call him Dougie anymore.
Doug.
Douglas Hamilton.
Doug Hamilton. I didn't pay attention too much in history class, but Douglas Hamilton sounds like a former president.
Yeah, or that's
Like
who
a
they wrote.
founding
That's who they
father.
wrote that play about, right? Douglas Hamilton.
It's Alexander Hamilton,
Same
I
guy.
think. Yeah, pretty close, yeah. If he went by Douglas Hamilton, then I might put him in the top 10.
I would.
That's because that's
I just can't
having the personality to go by Douglas Hamilton.
I can't take.
Dougie.
I can't take a guy in his 30s named Dougie seriously.
What about
Unless you're Dougie Fresh.
what about Scottie Pippen? Still going by Scotty.
Yeah, but he's got 6 rings.
That's true. Yeah,
He's got 6
yeah,
rings.
you can do whatever you want.
He's also
You call it
batshit
whatever you
crazy
want.
these days, but he's got 6 rings.
I mean, Michael Jordan's son's about to take one of those rings.
Oh.
Oof.
Got him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no, he probably gets half. So he gets 3 of them. Shots fired. All right, top 10.
Top 10,
According
let's see.
to the NHL Network. 10th, Quinn Hughes of the Vancouver
Yeah.
Canucks. So close to being a Blackhawk.
Man.
Alex Pietrangelo, 9th. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And winning a Stanley Cup helps. Eric Carlson, 8th. Get out of... No, sorry. I know he had 100 points.
Yeah.
He's not the... no.
If I'm picking
Offensive defenseman, fine.
if I'm picking between Eric Carlson and Alex Pietrangelo,
I'm taking Alex Pietrangelo.
I'm taking Alex Pietrangelo. But yeah,
There's no way Eric Carlson does another 100-point season. No way.
But this is the ultimate "what have you done for me lately" rankings.
Yes, it's the
and
top 20
lately
defenseman right now.
he won a Norris
Yes.
and had the first 100-point season since Brian Leach in 1992-93. So, sure, put him in the top 10. It's very high. It's towelly high to have him that high, but yeah, I wouldn't have him in the top 10 if we're trying to build a team of defensemen. I don't have him in my top 10.
Then we got.
But it's the right now ranking.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but no, he's not the 8th best defenseman in the league.
No.
Rasmus Dahlin, talked about him earlier. He's 7th. Charlie McAvoy, 6th. So we'll move right into the
Solid.
top 5.
Yeah, that's fine.
Hard to argue with this top 5. Maybe a little argument, but Roman Josi, 5th from the Predators.
Yeah.
Victor Hedman still hanging in there, 4th best defenseman in the league.
Yep.
Miro Heiskanen, 3rd best. Dallas Stars.
Yeah.
Nice to see him getting the prop. I don't have a argument with that.
You said it before the show. You watch some Stars games.
Watch those
and
playoff games.
Watch those playoff games. If Miro Heiskanen is not on the Dallas Stars, they are not a top team in the division.
No.
He is a huge difference maker for that. So good to see him get that recognition.
When the first comment I saw on this tweet was from a Bruins fan.
Sure.
Miro over McAvoy, LOL. Watch a game there, Boston guy. I would take Miro. No, Charlie McAvoy, real nice player. I'm taking Miro Heiskanen over Charlie McAvoy 10 times out of 10.
Most of these top 10 guys are all number ones, like clear-cut number ones.
Second, Adam Fox of the New York Rangers.
Yeah.
Former Norris winning trophy. Big offensive guy. I don't know if I'd have him as high as 2. Top 5, sure.
I'm okay with him being at 2. I know you probably don't watch a lot of Rangers hockey.
I hate watch the Rangers in the playoffs. But,
Yeah.
But imagine, just remember, that he was a Carolina Hurricanes prospect, and they gave him away for nothing.
I know.
Imagine if the Hurricanes had Adam Fox.
Adam Fox and Slavin and Brady Shea and Brett Pesce and all those guys all in
16th
one.
best defenseman, Brent Burns. Well, you probably don't trade for Brent Burns if you got Adam Fox.
No, I'm fine with having Adam Fox that high. I think if I'm looking at this top, if I'm looking at 2 through 5, I would say you're splitting hairs between all of them really. Yossi maybe I wouldn't put in the top 3, but if this was rejumbled and Hedman was 2 and Fox was 4 or something like that, I wouldn't have a problem with it. But yeah, Adam Fox I think is a solid player, and the Rangers really have a special talent.
And of course, number 1, no argument,
no question.
Yeah, Cale Makar, that's no brainer right
cover
there.
guy, Norris Trophy winner. He is going to be the best defenseman in this league until he is not.
He's going to win a Hart Trophy as a defenseman before it's all said and done. At least one.
Yeah.
I actually picked him to win the Hart.
I'd be
but
surprised if he finished his career without a Hart Trophy. I'd be very surprised by that.
And he's still so young. That's the scary part.
23?
That's the scary part.
Jeez.
Yeah, so Windy City Hockey pointing out that Adam Fox was also a Flames prospect before he was a Hurricane prospect.
No,
so,
he's
hey,
moving
sometimes
around.
giving up on those young defensemen really come back to haunt you.
Yeah.
So we'll see what happens.
The Adam Fox trade tree would be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's turned out really well for the Rangers.
Yeah. I think, if you wanted to put McAvoy in the top 5, I could see it. If you wanted to have Roman Josi be 3rd, sure, I could see that too. I mean, these rankings are great for discussions and rabble rousing all the different fan bases, but usually when you get to the top 5s of positions, you can jumble it up however you want, and you're not going to be wrong.
It's hard to go wrong with any of those guys.
I mean, Cale Makar is number 1. If he's not number 1, you just have a vendetta against either Colorado or Cale Makar personally. Yeah, because he is the best defenseman that they're. Like I said, he's going to be the best defenseman in this league until he is no longer.
I mean, you could argue.
I don't know what anyone could do to dethrone him other than winning the Norris 4 times in a row or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you could argue outside of Connor McDavid, Cale Makar might be the best player, period, in the NHL.
He is a player that can and already has, in different ways, redefined the defensive position.
He's this generation's Bobby Orr.
Yeah.
He's an amazing player. And we talk about amazing stuff and great deals. Becoming a diehard with us at CHGO, that's a great deal. You're going to get
always
lots
a great deal
of perks. We're looking forward to seeing a lot of our diehards Friday morning at the CHGO Kickoff Classic at Cog Hill.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it's too late to get tickets to that event, but those diehards that did purchase their tickets got 20% off. Mm-hmm. And you get 20% off all events and all merch when you become a member. You're going to get 1 free shirt when you sign up and a free shirt every year when you renew.
Yep.
We got lots of cool shirts. You can get our 16-bit 98 shirt or 8-bit. That's still a debate out there which one it is. You can get our Future of the League shirt or any one of our awesome CHGO Blackhawks shirts. Or, you could go get a Bears or a Cubs one, Bulls.
Cubs.
We won't be mad at you for long if you don't get a Hawk shirt. You also get members-only Discord access.
Yep.
So you get first dibs at your mailbag Monday, Tuesday / Wednesday questions. Yours will always be read on Monday.
Always,
you get first
yes.
dibs. You don't have to wait till Tuesday.
Unless we get 15 Discord questions.
Challenge. Get it out there. Yes, you will always have your mailbag Monday questions read on a Monday. And that 20% off events is going to come in handy a lot this fall / winter.
Yep.
The Bears tailgates are coming back. Those were a lot of fun last year. We'll be bringing those
Bulls
back.
takeovers.
We'll do a Bulls takeover. There
Hawks
will be some
takeovers.
Blackhawks takeovers. We had
Plural.
one last year in February.
Yep.
we're probably having more than one this year. Stay tuned. One's coming up allegedly not too deep into the season.
Yep.
So keep your eyes peeled. If you're a diehard, you're going to save 20% on tickets to all those events. So head over to ALLCITY.com, become a diehard member, and we will love you forever and always.
Yeah, and like you said, we got our golf outing, the first ever kickoff classic at Cog Hill coming up on Friday. So if you signed up, looking forward to getting out there and whacking the ball around the course with our lovely CHGO fans and friends and community. Going to be a good time. And we'll probably, while we're out on the course or in the clubhouse, knock a few Goose Islands back. Goose Island is the official beer sponsor of us here at CHGO, and they have been Chicago's beer since 1988. And they boast a bountiful roster of delicious beers, including the Goose IPA, their 6-time medal winner at the Great American Beer Fest, which is always in style with a citrus aroma and bold hop finish. You got the Tropical Beer Hug, the dry-hopped Imperial IPA that is a 9.9 ABV, dangerously easy to drink. One of those on a hot day like today will put you right to sleep. You got the Full Pocket Pills, the everyday beer. It is what the Goose Island beer brewers are drinking. And on this day, where the golden sun is trying to murder you, reach for the ultimate kryptonite of the hot sun, the golden can of 312 Goose Island's wheat ale that is cold and delicious and great. You can get all these beers and more, ultra fresh, brewery exclusive beers at the Goose Island Original Brew House on Clybourne Avenue in Lincoln Park, or you can go to their tap room on Fulton Street in Westtown. Again, that is the Goose Island Beer Company, Chicago's beer. And judging by Cody's reaction, I believe the Cubs may have done something good.
The Cubs have taken the lead.
Cubs have taken the lead.
Top of the eighth.
All right.
In the top of the eighth.
Sweet.
So
David Ross only has to manage his way through 2 innings for a victory.
Be sure to stay tuned to the CHGO YouTubes after we wrap it up here pretty soon. The Cubs post game will be coming up.
Hopefully we can witness Cody drinking a Goose Island out of the beer bat, celebrating a Cubs win.
A beer bat live would be a good way to cap off the Wednesday in the office.
And one last quick partner to tell you guys about before we wrap up. We're very excited that we're now partnering with our good friends over at Circle K. Check out your local Circle K for the best coffee, beer, and snack selection. I guarantee you can get some Goose Island there. And, of course, premium gas. Look out for freebies and giveaways down the road at Circle K. I know we've had a deal with Circle K in the Phoenix area, and they've actually been playing some of the podcasts on that little gas station TV.
Little TV shows.
I'm hoping that we could get that deal at one point, because
fun.
There would be nothing creepier than pumping gas at a Circle K after I go inside and I get my combos and my Mountain Dew. Than hearing my own voice talk back to me at the gas pump. That would be very free. And then you know how they have it where 6 or 7 of them are going at the same time, so it's kind of echoing.
Oh yeah,
I cannot wait to experience that. And that's
that'd be wonderful.
That's nightmare fuel for me, because I hate the sound of my own voice.
I would love to be fueling up at a Circle K, have one of those pop on, and someone else is there, and I walk by and they have to double take.
That
or
would
something.
be fun.
That would be fun.
Yeah, that'd be good. So thanks to Circle K for sponsoring CHGO. Visit the nearest Circle K to pick up all your favorite finds. And speaking of favorites, one last quick congratulations goes out to our guy Tommy Hawk. For being named the NHL Mascot of the Year.
Good for him.
I'm not sure what that entails. Does he get
being the best mascot?
Does he get a trophy for that? Or?
I think they count how many confetti cannons you blow off per season, how many high fives you give, how many hugs you give,
how many people you scare the shit out of with your drum because you sneak in behind them.
People you scare. Children that run away from you, but children that run to you is a positive. It's kind of like a plus minus.
Plus minus, yeah. More kids are happy to see you than are terrified to see you. That's
absolutely.
How you win that award.
And good for Tommy Hawk. He didn't judo toss anyone this year like he has in previous years. So
that was self-defense.
That's true.
That guy deserved it. I've never seen the Tommy Hawk taking down a drunken.
A rambunctious fan.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
It's good stuff. But congratulations to Tommy Hawk and those that are involved with the Tommy Hawk mascot.
At the Mascot Hall of Fame in Whiting, Indiana for him. I know he's a member there. Have you ever? I've never been.
Never been there, but I would love to go.
I've been to Whiting, Indiana. because that's where they also have Pierogi Fest every year, which is amazing. We went last year for the first time. It is literally a mile long of Main Street full of food and pierogies. They have bands. It's huge.
Sounds like
it's
a good
great time. But the Mascot Hall of Fame is there. They also do a big New Year's Eve party outside in Whiting, Indiana, where they have, they got the ball drop in Times Square. It's a pierogi drop. They have a big light love pierogi countdown the final day.
Man.
I would like to do that if it wasn't minus 4 degrees.
The next time we have a friend of the show, Marion Hossa, on our program, we need to tell him about Whiting, Indiana.
I'm sure he's got a booth.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
That'd be a good time.
I do. I think they've already had it. I think it's in July.
Oh, okay. I got it well.
It's only
around the calendar.
Whiting, Indiana is not that far. It's right next to Hammond, so just around the lake.
Okay.
Not very far. You can get there in less than an hour.
Stone's throw away.
They literally have like 30 different pierogi booths.
I didn't know it was possible to have that many different varieties of pierogi.
I guess it's all in how much love you put in the pierogi as
true.
you fry it up. But give me all the pierogies. All right, on that note, that's going to wrap up this Around the League Wednesday. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back full force tomorrow. Jay will be back here tomorrow. The Athletic is writing another show for us again. Thank you for them. They're releasing the top 8 of their prospect pool, which will include the Blackhawks.
Yep.
My guess is they'll be very near the top, if not at the top.
I'm saying they moved up to, what did I say? 4th? I think I said 4th on Twitter. I think they moved up a little bit because each team that was ranked above them when they were ranked 5th also improved.
They were all in that top 5, yeah.
And as someone pointed out to me on Twitter, the qualifications for being involved in this are a little too expansive for my taste because Tim Stutzel was with Ottawa.
He's still being considered a prospect?
Right. And
get out of here with that.
Who was the other
nonsense.
one? It was somebody was
Rasmus Dahlin.
yeah, it was somebody for Buffalo, or I might not have been Buffalo. I don't know. It was like I was like they're clearly not a prospect, but they were like nope, they were in the ranking. So we'll see.
Well,
hey,
it'll be good.
That means that Lucas Reichel is included. Maybe they're 3rd.
Maybe. We'll find out. Also, the elite prospects put out their top 100 prospects. A lot of future Blackhawks there.
Yeah.
And then after that, we're going to have some fun. If you like rankings, we did rankings today. We got a lot of rankings coming up across the CHGO network.
Yeah, stay tuned.
But we're going to be doing a lot of Blackhawk rankings over the next few days. So that should be a lot of fun because it's August and there's nothing else to talk about unless, another former IS Hog signs a PTO.
Yeah.
So we're going to wrap it up on this hot Wednesday. I'm Greg. That's Mario. Thanks for checking us out at the CHGO Blackhawks Podcast. Smash that like button on the way out. We'll see you tomorrow.